Hello folks, another week has gone by already, isn't that crazy how fast time flies as you get older. So another week's gone by and I'm here again for another From the Hip discussion where we discuss what's going through the brain of Excelsior at 10 minutes past 8 on a Wednesday evening here in sunny Surrey. Well, what's been happening this week? Well, we had a pretty crazy time of it in our community this week, I think. We've had some people getting very upset over things that, hey, maybe they should be getting upset about, and people getting upset about things that maybe, perhaps, they shouldn't be getting upset about. And what links them both is fear. Fear is the enemy, folks. Now, am I saying don't be afraid if you're standing next to a big cliff? Hell no. Fear of things that can actually harm you makes a lot of sense, which is why we have fear in the first place. But to be afraid of other things that, on reflection, aren't really worthy of our fear is not the best way to live. So, as a lot of you know, we've got an ongoing problem with people out in the States saying some things that folks think are inappropriate, and these things just going on and on and on and on, with digging up people's pasts, people having conversations that were among a specific group of people under a specific set of circumstances revealed to the world. So I think we've got to ask ourselves a very big question when we're doing activism on YouTube. Where does one's private life stop? Where does one's moral decisions stop and one's activism start? Is there a way to divide the two things? So, for example, can someone say something inappropriate, make an inappropriate joke, and yet still be a good activist, still be a good human being? Or should we, if someone does something that's inappropriate or says something that's inappropriate or whatever, then shun that person because they've proven themselves to be morally bankrupt and they're a hypocrite and everything they say and everything they do is now completely null and void? It's a choice. People can decide if they wish to make that moral choice. I mean, if that is what they wish to do, then that is their choice. And it's nothing to do with me and it's nothing to do with anybody else. If someone wants to judge someone else as unworthy, their activism as unworthy because of something that they strongly believe and feel is inappropriate, then that's entirely their choice. But do they then have the right to say to other people, you have got to make exactly the same moral judgment on this issue as I have? And to call people out when they don't make that moral choice? I believe no. But other people have got different opinions on that. And the beauty of the XJW community, in my opinion, is that we can agree to disagree agreeably. That's what I've always sought to do. I do not by any means agree with every single person in the XJW community. I just simply don't. There are lots of things that people say and do that I think, yeah, I don't think I really want to be doing that or saying that or believing that. And that's my choice. But what I don't do is then go online and start saying, oh, this person believes X, Y, Z, or this person made an inappropriate joke, or this person did this. And it makes them a complete hypocrite and everything they ever do is wrong. I will criticise on occasion, yes. But I will always try to see some good in that person as well. So the way I tackle things when I think something's inappropriate or needs attention is I will talk to that person privately, if I can. And I will always be able to find something about that person to genuinely praise. Because everybody has got something about them you can praise. And so I find something that I can congratulate that person on, agree with that person on. And then perhaps we can have a discussion that's based upon mutual respect about what my beef is. And most of the time I find that works, because I'm not normally expecting someone to do anything major or drastic. I'm just expecting them to listen to what I've got to say and take it into account. And if they decide that's not how they want to do things, then I'll leave it there. Because that's their decision. That's their life. That's their moral choice. Not mine. I don't feel comfortable in judging other people in terms of things that are clearly conscience matters. Because it's not my place to. Now, do I judge people who have committed a terrible crime like child abuse? Abso-bloody-lutely. Yes, I do. And I want those criminals held to account. So if you've done something that's criminal, then yes, the law should deal with you. And that's the point. The law should deal with it. If I knew someone was doing something really awful, then yes, I would whistleblow. It depends upon the situation and it depends upon the severity of what's been going on. We need to use good judgment here. But the main bottom line for me is, are people safe? And especially, are the children safe? And that's something that we can all agree on. So what I'm trying to say is this. We all have our opinions on each other. We all have our opinions on each other's activism. Do we always have to express that opinion? And if you believe that we do, fine. But do we always have to express that opinion in a totally non-diplomatic way? Can we find a way of disagreeing agreeably? Or can we just say, you know what, it's just not worth me talking about this because it doesn't really affect what we're trying to achieve as a community, which is the destruction of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society cult. That's what we're here for, folks. That's what I'm here for. I'm here because it damaged my life and it made me hurt someone I loved very dearly. And I don't think that should stand. And so that's why I do what I do. And it's not like I'm Mr. Activist. I make silly Lego videos, and I make these off-the-cuff things, and I've done some other things on some other issues, and I'll probably do them again at some point. But, you know, I do other things. I was a tiny, teeny, weeny bit towards getting this Charity Commission investigation. I, along with many, many others, wrote to them and said you need to investigate them. So I'm not claiming any credit for that. I'm a very teeny weeny, teeny tiny small part of that. But that's what we can all be. This is the beauty of our community. We're not alone. We're not lone wolves trying to bring down the Watchtower on a Todd. We have got lots of other people in our community. And, you know, there's been situations like dear Louise Good, who's doing an excellent job on her JW podcast.org, by the way, Louise. Fantastic stuff. But Louise Good has come up with some superb stuff in the past. And all it is sending off a letter or doing something like that. These are things that we can all do even in a busy life. It can take, say, 10 minutes. And the cumulative effect of that activism is tremendously powerful. I mean, lots and lots of folks writing an email to the Charity Commission set up the investigation. And now lots and lots of people are sending the information to Jonathan that he needs to continue with his investigation. And it's been a group effort, everybody mucking in, Christians, atheists, people believing other faiths. It doesn't matter. We all got stuck in and we all did our little bit. And cumulatively, that's had a really powerful and positive effect. And that, as I say, is the beauty of our community. We don't have to do it all alone. And people have certain skills. There are people out there who can do this kind of activism and that kind of activism and write letters, and they know about the law. Whatever it is they're doing, there's different directions to go, but they all lead to the ultimate goal, which is, for me, the destruction of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society cult. I want it gone, I want it dead, I want it buried, because it's hurt so many people, including all of us. So when we do get these folks who are very critical of us, when we get these folks who are obviously very upset about things, they've been damaged by the cult too. They've had horrendous things happen to them. And so, even though it might be difficult, even though it might be easy just to lash out and respond to this anger and fear and aggression in a negative way, maybe we need to take a step back and think, you know what? We've all been battered and bruised and damaged by this cult, including the individual I might be having an argument with. So perhaps it might be a better thing to not fight. Maybe it might be a better thing to apologise if necessary. As I say, I don't tell people what to do, so it's the last thing I'm going to do. But I'm just saying, think about that. Everyone in this community has been damaged, some far, far more severely than others. I've had a comparatively easy time of it, but still, I was profoundly damaged by this cult. And that's something to consider, because yes, there are people out there who have been horribly, terribly abused, and terrible things have happened to them. And they have my sincere sympathy. They really do. It's one of the reasons I'm fighting, is for those poor people who were physically and sexually abused. I think it's disgusting. And if I can do a little bit to help stop that and bring some peace to those lovely people, then that's what I want to do. But let's just try and remember that even if we haven't had those awful things happen to us, every single one of us has been emotionally and mentally abused. Every one of us has been spiritually abused. Even though I'm not a believer, I agree with Mike and Ken when they say that we're spiritually abused in the cult. They do not teach Christianity as taught in the Bible. They just simply don't. So I think the key word for me is trying to show compassion and trying to show fellow feeling for people who've been through a very, very awful time, and try and find peace. Try and find some way of getting along. Now, does that mean that I'm going to kowtow and do everything other people say? Maybe not. But it does mean that I'm going to try and disagree agreeably, and sometimes just keep my opinion to myself. So I'd close with my favourite passage in the Bible again. It says here in 1 John 4, "And as we live with Christ, our love grows more perfect and complete. So we will not be ashamed and embarrassed at the day of judgment, but can face him with confidence and joy, because he loves us and we love him too. We need have no fear of someone who loves us perfectly. His perfect love for us eliminates all dread of what he might do to us. If we are afraid, it is for fear of what he might do to us, and shows that we are not fully convinced that he really loves us. So you see, our love for him comes as a result of his loving us first. If anyone says, 'I love God,' but doesn't love his brother, he's a liar." Take care, folks. Peace be with you. Excelsior.